Thank you very much for joining Advantest Corporation's IR Fireside Chat despite your busy schedule. We are excited to present this session and would like to introduce our panelists and our moderator. From the left side of the slide, Mr. Douglas Lefevre, Representative Director, Senior Executive Officer, and Group CEO. Mr. Jürgen Zeller, Senior Executive Officer and Chief Technology Officer. Mr. Yasuo Mihashi, Senior Executive Officer and Chief Stakeholder Relations Officer. Mr. Mihashi will serve as the moderator for today's Fireside Chat session. I am Oike from the IR department, and I will be serving as your facilitator today. The theme of the discussion is Be the most trusted and valued test solution company in the semiconductor value chain. This is Advantest's vision statement, which we defined last year. Following the fireside chat, we will open the floor for questions from the audience. We plan to close this session at 6 p.m. Japan time. Before we begin, we would like to remind you that today's session contains forward-looking statements, all of which are subject to risks and uncertainties that may cause our actual result to be different from those in such forward-looking statements.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Thank you for joining Advantest Fireside Chat today. Let me introduce our CEO, Douglas Lefevre, sitting beside of me, and also CTO, Jürgen Zeller. We will conduct today's fireside with all of us three.
Yeah, thank you guys. Great to be here. We're in a beautiful setting today. It's autumn here in Germany, and we're amongst the Mercedes-Benz area where many things started in the automotive industry. Myself, I came from a family in the automotive industry, not in Germany, but in Detroit area. And that's how I started my career. But I quickly moved to semiconductors and have been in that industry now for 28 years now. So happy to be here.
Yeah. Hello, I'm Jürgen. Here in Böblingen was the first site of Hewlett-Packard outside of the United States. And I'm now 34 years in the AT industry. Hewlett-Packard, Agilent, Verig, and since 2011 with Advantest. And yes, I'm happy that now the entire team is here in Böblingen and we can show everything that we are doing.
Let me start touching about our MTP3, I think. So it's been 1.5 years after we initiated this midterm plan 3. I think maybe we should start touching about what is a highlight about MTP3, and we still have 1.5 years more, and we will focus to expand or to extend our businesses.
Yeah, I can start, Yas. But maybe before we even talk about the midterm plan 3, we can just go back even a couple years further. When we started talking about midterm management plans, we did that around 2017. When Yoshida-san became CEO, we implemented these 3-year management plans, realizing that we needed to start planning not just 1 year out, but take into account all the cycle effects. And so we started putting some strategies in place along with some key performance indicators to measure ourselves over a 3-year period rather than single years. And so we did that from 18 to 20 and then 21 to 23. And now we're in our third 3-year tranche and halfway through that. And each of those plans has been very successful. I think we've built new strategies upon ones that are still core to our success. And so as we look into the second half of this third plan, we're doing a lot of things right. And I think and the company has executed in a way that the management really was expecting. And we've been able to grow from plan to plan at a very high rate. So as we look into this third plan, a couple of the themes now that we're having to adapt even more is around the concept of velocity and scale. In our industry, that the time to market aspect is becoming more and more critical. The device generations are at a cadence of 1 year now, as opposed to a couple of years or even longer in some cases in the past. And so we're having to shorten our development cycles. I'm sure Jürgen, can speak to that. But then we're also having to scale out at a level in our production that we never had assumed in the previous plans. And so we've done a good job. I think in the first part of this midterm plan, and the second half is going to be a lot more of that scale, investing in our supply chain, investing in our production capacity. And as we reported in our last disclosure, we've upped the full year numbers, and we've updated the 3-year plan numbers now significantly. And that's a result of all the growth that we're experiencing, along with our ability to respond to that growth.
I see. So I think we are doing many things where it could lead our business to be, or our position to be extended to succeeded, I think. But our success coming from its complexities. That's what we are talking in the market, I think. So Jürgen, what you can say about these complexities?
Well, it's a complex question.
Correct.
So, the AI market is enormously driven by performance and power. So our customers are pushing all technologies to the limits. Whether that's high bandwidth memory now becoming very fast, even more stacks. Whether that's the I/O speed going 224 gigabit, now moving to optical integration. Whether that's new process technology, whether that's 3.5D packaging technology, and this is all stacking up. And combined with what Doug said, that the velocity, the time to market pressure, and the increased quality levels, this comes all together, and generates an enormous test challenge or an industry challenge. We call it industry problem, and that's where we are focusing at, and where we are investing to resolve it.
So used to be testing has been called as a cost because we're gonna need to judge whether device is okay or not. But now testing becoming something different than where we are, I think. And I think we are showing more values than what the original testing is, I think. So is this trend will be kept for at least the next few years?
Yeah, I'm very sure, because the technology which is used, we always move to the edge. So our job in the meantime is not just go, no go, but we have to trim and calibrate every device, sometimes even subsections of every device, to its optimal performance point, and having enough margins to the individual circuit. And that's now something we are doing since many years, and it will continue, that we trim and calibrate, that we make device better, and that's a necessary step.
Yeah, I would just add, I agree with Jürgen, and kind of the equation has changed a little bit now with these very complex high performance compute AI devices, and the packaging technology and the cost of that packaging technology now is driving a focus on yield and quality, and that there's always that aspect in the past, but now these devices have such high ASPs and they're so costly in terms of the packaging that the test content naturally is going up to make sure they're getting high yielded devices, because it's just too expensive to throw away these expensive packages now.
I mean, another example is power pairing. So the process variation is so such, and everybody wants to squeeze out the last piece of power. People want to pair chiplets in regard to best combination for power, and that's where we help. That's one of the areas where we are really good to provide that data to optimize the yield and the performance level of the bins.
But it is really good for us, I think. Test becoming so much values on the way to produce very complicated devices, including miniaturization technologies and heterogeneously integrated technologies. But meanwhile, efficiency is always requirement. Is being required on testing, I think. So what is our approach to efficiency gain with such complicated testing philosophy or testing methodologies in future?
Well, I mean, let's start with a couple of things. First of all, we are convinced that you have to extend towards a design because there is where the DFTs is set. So that's part of the reason why we engage in our new initiative or product called Iconic. So to close the gap between EDA and ATA, to prepare to have a good sign off, to also allow that the designers can talk to the test engineers can move the results back much better, and that flow is closed. Second, we certainly invest tremendously into automation tooling, AT software, AI tools ourselves to make our users much more productive. And third, and I think that's what we call as distribution of test. Sometimes our customers don't know where to put what content and what content they have to add. And therefore we have a strategy of allow the distribution of tests along all test insertions, whether that's engineering, wafer sort, hot cold, package test, burn in, system level test. So that's just a few highlights.
Yeah, I think the other thing to add is I think in the previous midterm plans, we've done a good job of adding some of those pieces in that back end flow. So to Jürgen's point, as the distribution of tests moves around, depending upon the type of device or where it is in its life cycle, our approach is being able to cover those different insertions. And so I can remember actually, just going back to the 2017 timeframe, I still have a picture of the whiteboard that we made of this kind of moving to the left and integrating EDA to ATE and going right with system level test and having cloud-based data analytics to tie them together. And that was all the way back now 8 or 9 years ago. And throughout that first and second plan, we've made some inorganic moves and acquisitions. We've done some organic development on things like die level probe. And now we're putting those things together and we're seeing the effects of those investments and strategies.
Yeah, indeed, we are making a good progress, I think. So I think my next question is since we've been doing great, I think, but meanwhile we must consider where the risk hidden, so that we better to consider some risk factor on the way of our company growth or our company strategies.
Yeah.
Where you see some risks we should think about. So we are doing like production capacity up, which is one of the biggest risks what we are having. So that we are working in.
Yeah.
So what other risks?
Yeah, I get this question a lot,
Yes.
Because everyone I think wants to talk about bubble and what happens in a downturn. And I think this is for one thing, I believe this is different. And in some ways, it's just a bigger wave. In some ways, it's similar to what we've seen in the past, where initially with a wave of technology change, there's initially an infrastructure or enterprise level growth, and that typically gets followed up with something more at the consumer level, or in this case, people talk about the edge. And I firmly believe that will happen. The timing of when, the handoff from enterprise to edge is still a question. I think that's debatable, but not about if it's going to happen. It's about when. And so we're fairly comfortable in that will happen. And those volumes could be orders of magnitude higher than what we're seeing at the data center level. So we have, high confidence that, the future will kind of track with what we've seen historically. That being said, we done a couple of things, and maybe Jürgen can talk about maybe the platform approach, which the company has really been disciplined about, that helps us through kind of the ebb and flows of the industry. But from a structure standpoint, we're being very disciplined in our cost, particularly in our fixed cost level. And so I think we're pretty well prepared for any kind of change in the market, temporary. And then the last thing I'll say is that, while AI and HPC have driven the market, our portfolio of solutions can adapt to wherever there's, good segments. And, especially when the consumer comes back, we have a very, very robust portfolio of test and measurement products to address those segments.
Yeah. And let me maybe interject here. So I think the risk of capacity, I think, is even an opportunity.
Sure.
So meaning we have been investing so much in our flexible supply chain so that we can scale and handle the uncertainty, that we believe that our capacity of manufacturing and supply chain in the meantime is a competitive advantage.
Sure. And in the material or on the way of device MTP3, we stated, we will increase our R&D expenditures because so many different technologies is coming up, and so many complex test flow, so that we need to build something really surprising in the market, I guess. So CTO, you have so many plans, I think.
Yeah, well, I think that's the nature of AI right now, that everything is so fast. There are various technology options the market may take, and so it's uncertain. So what you have to do is, I think, multiple things. First of all, you have to find out what's coming and what's not coming. And we have established a really tight relationship to industry experts, customers, but also to leading partners to find that out. And if you need to develop a new technology, it may take 5+ years. If you start a product, it may take 3 years. If it's a software enhancement, half a year. So the most critical one is the ones where are far out and you need a long lead time. So our ability to predict trends, I think, is really good, and we have a good hit rate. And then you need to invest into the different technology options. Third, and that's more the scaling aspect Doug mentioned, you also have to then think, if you identified an industry problem, how to map that on our platform in a scaling way, so that at the end everything has to fit together and become effective. That's usually the second step, that we build scalable solutions which are compatible to what's already installed. That's a big value for our customers, so they can flexibly shift capacity and reuse the assets, but also allow that platform to be extended and scaled to future needs.
Yeah, I would add to that too. I'm always challenging Jürgen on the R&D because I think more right now is better. But the other thing, we can't do it all ourselves is another point. Especially now, we have to approach things not from just a tester, but a test cell perspective. And so we've engaged with very critical partners in the industry. And a lot of times we are kind of co-investing with those partners to develop that full test cell solution. And so sometimes, I view that as R&D dollars or yen or euro in those cases. That doesn't necessarily show up in our direct R&D, but it's certainly focused on development of critical solutions to address these industry problems that Jürgen spoke about.
Yeah. So I think we are really extending through your CTO networks and Doug, your networks, how we can expand the area and the technologies, what needs to combine all the technology which is coming, I think. But internally, our operation is getting bigger along with our business size. So I think we have some challenges internally too. How we should try to further engage. So from its CTO viewpoint, what are you focusing?
A couple of areas. First of all, we are continuously investing into what we call refreshing the platform and the architecture. And those things take a long time. So you have step by step continuously invest. Second is we ran programs that we can run now projects for 92,000 in various R&D labs. I mean, it started all here in Germany, but now we also we have extended that to China, to Japan, and we also now starting some projects together in US. So this gives us the flexibility to allocate resources and combine things, and leverage and get the synergies out of it. And next is most likely also, not most likely, is investment into more software, automation, and AI to make us internally more productive. That's not only on the software area, but also on ASIC design, thermal simulations, mechanical simulations, and those are just a few points.
Yeah, having those, we have very large R&D hubs, here in Bulligan and over in Japan. Those are going to remain our two big hubs. But I think what we'll see, in the future, as some level of local R&D specifically placed around customers, because the solutions are so complex that there has to be some touch of locality to help implement new solutions. And so I see us heading in that direction, into the next couple of years.
So next question is, it's been I think 14 years after company Veris and then company Advantest has been together, I think. So there are lots of many discussions I think we've been through, and now we are really became big parties or big family now. So on the way, or from here to futures, I think. So we really need to think about cultures inside of the companies, how we can, how we should express as a management our company cultures. So what are you in a CTO taking care almost all BUs. So you start, I think.
Well, I think we have this nice culture of teamwork and collaboration. And this is important because people need to talk, not just between R&D, but to our salespeople, to our application engineers, to really find out what is important or not. And this is very important in this time to market race. Second is this is also collaboration with partners that we are openly discuss what are the industry problems coming. And then turn it into, let's say, solutions. And as I mentioned, part of the solution to address this complexity is the distribution of tests. So now we have to address that, the different BUs or different products are linked together. Therefore, this collaboration or skill of or culture of collaboration and teamwork gets more and more important. Not just outside, but also inside. And this paired, with curiosity, the passion, I think that's I think a unique characteristic of Advantest.
So I think we have initiated our activities or our philosophy integrity especially. So it was I think we have communicated this in about 2018, and now it's been becoming almost more than 5 years, and we keeping expressing how it's important integrity is. This activity along with our daily communication operations, was it helping our commonality what we care most?
Well, I mean, the results show it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this the concept that we started with integrity, and each letter of integrity has its own meaning that we focus on for different parts of the company is super important to Advantest. I mean, our reputation is a company of high integrity, and our vision is to be the most trusted and valued supplier. And I think we're living up to that. We're not perfect, but it's not because we don't ever have high integrity. I feel confident saying that our culture is very well established and something that we protect and hold very dear to us. I mean, we're a 71-year-old company that now is a blend of Japan, who has this, very long-term view, very service-oriented, excellent, engineering technology, the German precision capabilities and approach to platform discipline and the teamwork, and then the Cowboys, from the U.S. But we've pulled this off as a company. Well, a lot of people would have doubted we've been able to take the best parts of those three cultures, and then you add into it, the Southeast Asia, Taiwan, Korea, and other parts of Europe. I think we've done an excellent job in the company of taking those different cultures and putting them together inside of the Advantest culture, again, which is built around this concept of integrity.
I can see. So, you've been CEO like, 1.5 years, I think.
Yeah.
So, I think, what you said, I think, it is supported after you became a CEO, I think. So, our company passed, more than 70 years, I think. So there are many, Japanese and culture-based, philosophies, I think. So now, 1.5 years and more in futures, I think. So I think, we really being diverse, like what you said, I think. But how we should extend our company cultures to be more aggressive or more humble, I think. Any comment?
Yeah, well, it has been a year and a half, a little less hair and a few more kilos, and I'm sure. But I have enjoyed it, and one of the best parts of the job is going to the different offices around the world and spending time with our employees around the world. And for sure, the world, it's not just device complexity. We often talk about the world is more complex now in so many ways. And so to have a network within Advantest that can communicate clearly and be on the same page strategically is not an easy undertaking. And so we spend a lot of time in our management team, and we have this really wonderful, I would say, three-way matrix where we have our business units, which are driving, the P&L. We have the functional groups that are supporting the different functions, service support, sales, administration, operations, these things. And then we have sort of a third layer, which is our regional based entities that then all cooperate together and gives us, the local blend on top of those business unit and functional unit matrices. And so I'm sure other companies have tried to do this, but I think for us, it's really worked quite well to address, how we scale. If the business moves in one region versus the other, depending upon geopolitics, our footprint is already in, I think, 16 or 17 countries. And so it's easy for us to scale depending upon where the business, ends up happening. So that's something I think we'll see more of. And we should be proud of, I think, that three-way matrix that's really led to a lot of success.
I think so. Okay. Let me touch again about our automations, I think. So where or what we need to aiming forward in futures, about this automations, Jürgen.
Well, as I already said, things become much more complex, and the time to market pressure is continue to dominate everything. We have to enable what we call automation or an entire flow, and that's where we are working on. And this also is our internal R&D, but also working with partners to have all pieces lined up and interacting efficiently. I think that's the main direction. And this means we need to work with EDA companies to prepare the front end, the test content. Then we need to, our solutions need to be able to efficiently manage and control the test content and move, content around to the different insertions. And certainly the results we need to feed back to process, to design for improvement. This also includes test cells. I strongly believe that die-level probing will need to come. The thermal is one of the key challenges in industry. So you also have to think about, the test cell aspect, whether that's wafer sort or whether that's in a final test with now kilowatts of thermal control, fast thermal control, but also in SLT, the economics, as a last quality gate. All those pieces have to interact and allow our customers to achieve the time to market, the quality levels, and the productivity. So this is the main direction we are heading.
Yeah, I would just add, if you look at our history now, going back again to the early midterm planning, we've basically been marching toward this ultimate goal. So we took the decision in 2017, 2018 to really double down on semiconductor test. We felt like that was going to be a place, there's enough there for us to focus on that. And then as we went forward, we picked up different pieces of the solutions. Right now, we've been integrating and enabling this automation, those solutions, and ultimately there'll be this back-end flow, and it'll be different for different devices and even different customers. But at that point, Advantest will have successfully put this capability in place where we can enable this automation. And so ultimately, the goal of the company is to really be able to provide this enablement of the back end flow that is so much more complicated now than it was just 5 years ago.
Yeah, I think well, we keep getting complexities. It's been so compressed. So I think this complexity is really the things what it's going to keep driving our activities. But also, this is one of the biggest hurdle for our customers, so that we keep focusing on this complex the semiconductor technologies and the industries. Sure. Well, it was good communications and many insight input. Thank you so much. And I think we now moving to Q&A. But Doug, any comment at the end?
Yeah, I would just say that there's never been a better time in our careers for test. And we've lived through some, so we've seen lots of changes and ups and downs, and we never fully expected things to get to where they are already now. But the company has just been investing continuously for this time. And like I said, we're kind of in this period of accelerated growth where test is just going to continue to be a value-added part of the semiconductor value chain, and we feel positioned going forward as a company.
Let's now move to questions and Q&A.
Goldman Sachs Japan, Mr. Nakamura, please go ahead. ゴールドマンサックス証券、中村様、ご質問をよろしくお願いいたします。
Thank you very much for taking my question, and thank you very much for the wonderful session today. My question is regarding to the die level probing. I think there was some remarks made several times during this session, and I just wanted to understand how you're looking at this opportunity going forward. We understand that the next device of the merchant GPU may potentially start to adopt, the die level prober. So, wanted to see when you would potentially see, the contribution in terms of earnings and how we should quantify that impact.
はい、セッションどうもありがとうございました。私がお伺いしたいのは、ダイレベルプロービングについてです。先ほどのファイアサイドチャットでも何度か言及されたと思うんですけれども、この事業機会についてどう見てらっしゃるんでしょうか。次のマーチャント GPU で DL でダイレベルプローバーのテストインサーションが始まるのではないかなとも見ているんですけども、売上への寄与がいつ頃始まるのか、定量的にどのぐらいの規模が見込めるのか教えていただけませんでしょうか。
Okay, yeah, thank you, Nakamura-san. Good afternoon, and thank you for the question. So I'll go first, and maybe between Jürgen and I, we can expand on the die level probe opportunity. We definitely, from a high level standpoint, we definitely are seeing traction build for die level probe insertion for known good die and for known good COW use. And so this is a very dynamic area because it's different and the value proposition seems like it's starting to be fairly compelling around this insertion. In terms of timing, we see kind of later in next year, really there to be some definite ramping potential for this business, followed by several years of pretty high growth. And I'll just put a condition on that again, the use case and the value add for this insertion has to be very clear for it to have that kind of aggressive ramp.
はい、中村様、ご質問ありがとうございました。最初に私の方から質問して、その後、ユルゲンがフォローアップするかもしれません。ハイレベルな観点から見ると、大レベルへの関心は高まりつつありまして、それは KGD、ノングッドダイ、あと KGCOW、ノングッドハウの観点から関心が高まっていっていて、この領域はすごくダイナミックに動きがある領域ではないかなと思っておりまして、これを通じて我々が提供できる価値というのはかなり高いのではないかと思います。タイミングについてもご質問ございましたが、ランプアップのポテンシャルというのが来年橋もきぐらいにそのポテンシャルが見込めるのではないかなと思いまして、でその後に数年間その成長が見込めるのではないかなと思いますが、その前提としてその大レベルプロービングによる価値がかなりクリアになっているということがこの前提条件でございます。
Well, so let me give you some background why we believe that this is an opportunity for us. The power levels at the wafer test are so high that thermal control and warpage at the wafer level, the entire wafer level, is too high and difficult to manage. So people really want to do real known good die and want to do matching of chiplets later on. So they need to perform very precise and accurate known good die test at the hot temperature.
はい。まず私の方からこの大レベルプロービングに対する関心が高まっている背景について回答差し上げたいと思います。現状、ウェーハーソートのレベルで、熱関連、パワー関連がだいぶの水準が高まっていて、その結果、歪み、ウォーピングやサーマル熱制御を管理することがますます難しくなっています。だからこそ KGD、ノングッドダイの重要性が高まっております。そしてさらにはチップレットのマッチングも必要になってくるため、そのため KGD を精密にマッチングすることというのが必要になってきています。
So going to a die level, whether it's die or COW, enables our customers to do much more precise measurement, and that's the driver for this opportunity.
はい。なので、大レベル、そして COW への動きが始まると、お客様にとって精密な測定というのが重要になってきております。
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Nakamura-san. So next questions from Morgan Stanley MUFG Research Japan. Mr. Wadagi, please go ahead. モルガンスタンレー MUFG 証券和田木様、ご質問よろしくお願いいたします。
Hello, I'm Tetsuya Wadaki. My question is about AI. How can I use AI to improve and enhance your semiconductor testing business?
私からの質問は AI の活用についてなんですけれども、御社の半導体テスト事業を向上するために、どのように AI を活用できるのか教えていただけませんでしょうか。
So certainly we use AI to improve the efficiency in R&D. So just to give you a few examples, we use that for software development, code completion, Another interesting case is automatic test case for software test generation. And that's really helps us to improve time to market on the software development.
はい。
We all,
まず、AI はすでに活用しておりまして、R&D の効率性の向上に向けて、いくつか具体例を差し上げますと、ソフトウェア開発、コードの生成、あとはテストケースのオートメーションなど、ソフトウェアのタイムトゥーマーケットの向上に活用しています。
another interesting case is on the hardware side. You may know that ASIC design is one of our key technology, and using the latest tool set from the EDA industry with AI really helps us to speed up the ASIC development, FPGA development, which is will be used and is used in the hardware design.
はい。あと、ハードウェアについてもお話ししますが、皆さんご存知の通り、我々にとって ASIC の開発は鍵となる技術であります。我々 EDA と連携することもございますが、ASIC や FPGA の開発における AI の活用という点が、ハードウェアでの AI の活用事例になります。
And we do not stop with R&D. So we also use these kind of technology to enable our customers and our sales and support people. So code completion for programming, software checking, debugging tooling. I mean, those is being rolled out now. And with that, we're going to be more effective in our supporting our customers and our customers itself gaining efficiency through AI.
はい。そして我々は R&D 以外にも、顧客のサポートにおいても AI を活用しています。顧客の営業及びサポートに対して、という意味では、コードのコンプリーション、ソフトウェアのデバッグ、ジェネレーションなどに活用されていて、これによってお客様に対するサポートを充実させると同時に、お客様の効率性の向上もサポートしています。
Let me add one last thing, which is one of the reasons we have a lot of confidence in just the industry and AI is because of what Jürgen mentioned. On one hand, we're using it extensively for our development. We're using it in our own operations to drive velocity, productivity, and then also we're enabling it to be used with our testers, and we can see the effects of that. And so when we look at it just as Advantest, we see just the amazing power that this is enabling in the industry. And if all companies are doing what we're doing, there's a lot of reason for optimism for AI. So I just wanted to, make mention of that.
はい。最後に私の方からもう一点見方を付け加えたいなと思ってるんですけども、当社自身 AI 市場に対しての今後の進展について自信を持っています。なぜかというと、先ほどユルゲンが申した通り、弊社はかなり AI を社内の業務オペレーションについて活用しており、それによって社内の業務効率のスピードも高まってますし、生産性も高まっています。テスターの開発などにおいても AI がその効果を発現しており、社内で AI のパワーというものを実感しております。当社のみならず、他の企業もこういった AI の取り組みをすると考えるのであれば、AI の市場についてポジティブな見方ができるというふうに感じております。
Thank you very much.
綿木様、ありがとうございました。Thank you very much, Mr. Watagi, for your question. Then, next question is BofA Securities Japan, Mr. Hirakawa, please. BofA 証券、平川様、ご質問お願いいたします。
My question. We know that Advantest is one of the most successful Japanese companies in terms of globalization, leveraging acquisitions. And actually, I have a question to Doug. You've been in this position for more than a year. So what was the most difficult part for you to integrate this management, this company as a global company? And what have you changed the company in terms of the culture? Because Yoshida-san was a great CEO and you are doing great. So what is your achievement so far?
はい。アドバンテストは日本企業の中でもグローバリゼーションおよび M&A といった観点で成功している企業のうちの一社だと思います。タグが CEO に就任してから1年以上経ちましたが、このグローバルな企業をマネージする上での最も大きなチャレンジはどういうことだったのか教えていただけませんでしょうか。吉田さんも素晴らしい CEO ではあったと思いますが、タグが CEO になってからカルチャーをどういうふうに変えたのか、CEO に就任してから大きな何を達成したのか教えていただけませんでしょうか。
Yeah, thank you very much, Hirakawa-san, for the question. I just want to say first that this our globalized company and the focus on teamwork across the entire company didn't start in the last year or two. It started a long time ago in the company. Advantest has always been a company on the cutting edge in terms of its ability to be a global company. And it didn't start with me. It didn't even start with Yoshida-san. We are just building upon the legacy of a lot of different leaders in the company. And so I want to start by saying that.
はい、まず一番最初にお伝えしたいことは、当社のグローバルな特性、またチームワークといったところは、最近始まったばかりのことではありません。これは過去数年間において長い期間、我々はすでにそういう会社であり、常に最先端を行く会社でありましたので、私、または吉田の時代から始まったものではなく、これは過去の先人たち、過去のリーダーたちが築いた土台に基づいて、我々がそれに積み重ねているだけにすぎません。
But there are two areas maybe I'm focused on continuing. One, we showed that slide about the matrix and the regional aspect of our business. And one of the key things right now, because the device complexity is driving these very integrated solutions, Advantest is unique in that we have different kind of products and technologies across the company. And Jürgen, he's got two roles, but one of his key roles as CTO is to cut across those different product lines and technologies and begin to integrate them into the test cell and test cell solution. So that's kind of going beyond what we had been in the past. And so I think encouraging the company to continue to integrate technology across our different domains is very critical.
はい。私が CEO に就任してからフォーカスしているところなんですけれども、先ほどのスライドでマトリックス構造について投影させていただいたと思うんですけども、社内ではいくつかのマトリックスがあって、その中に地域、プロジェクトしたマトリックスもあり、それ以外のマトリックスもあるんですけれども、足元の重要な点としては、デバイスのコンプレクシティが高まっており、それによって統合されたソリューション、当社ではインテグレートソリューションと呼んでいますが、その重要性がますます高まっているということでして、ユルゲン・セラーは2つの役割を持っていますが、そのうち CTO として彼の重要な役割というのは、当社がいろんな技術を持ち合わせている中、それを社内横断する形でいろんなプロダクト技術部門、いろんな技術を横断的に取り入れて、テストセルソリューションの中に取り込んでいることです。これは過去から我々が進化した点であるというふうに自負しており、今後もこのインテグレーションということを続けていきたいというふうに考えています。
And the second thing, just quickly, is that Advantest has a history of having very strong local presence, and because of the need to be tightly coupled with our customers, as the speed of the industry continues to go beyond our expectations, the local Advantest entities become very critical in order to support that dialogue with customers and partners. And so that's something you'll see us continue to do, is to empower the local Advantest entity in a very concerted approach with our business units and our functional units.
はい、次に付け加えたいこととしては、我々は地域密着型のビジネスをしていて、それがますます重要になってきているということです。我々が事業を進めていく上で、客またパートナーな密接な連携がとても重要ですが、足元の技術進化のスピードが速まる中、ローカルないろいろなアドバンテストのローカルの現地法人が顧客、そしてそれぞれのパートナーとやり取りすることというのが我々にとってより大きな鍵となっています。我々はこういったローカルの現地法人をさらにエンパワーメントし、同時にローカルのチームとファンクショナルユニットおよび事業部門、ビジネスユニットの足並みを揃えて、この三軸構造のマトリックスを進めていくという方針です。
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Hirakawa-san. So next question from Citigroup Global Markets Japan. Mr. Shibano, please go ahead. Citigroup 証券、柴野様、ご質問をお願いいたします。
柴野と申します。ユルゲンさんに、サイコニックについて質問したいと思います。ATE と EDA をコンシステントに接続するソリューションになるかと思いますが、既存の重要な顧客をこのサイコニックによりましてロックインすることが可能になると考えてよいでしょうか。また今アドバンテストのシステムをメインで使用していないユーザーが一層アドバンテストのツールを使うようなきっかけ、カタリストトリガーになると考えていいでしょうか。またEDA とのコラボレーションということで、もし他社にない御社のよりコラボレーティブなカルチャーや歴史的なEDA との関係性で他に真似ができないようなバックグラウンドがあれば伺いたいと思います。よろしくお願いします。
Thank you. So my name is Shibano. My question is directed to Mr. Jürgen Zier in relation to Psychonic. So I understand that Psychonic is a solution that will bridge the gap between ATE and EDA. Is this meant to lock in existing customers, if I can put it that way? That's my first question. My second question is that, is this going to help draw in new customers that were not doing business with Advantest previously? And thirdly, in terms of your relationship with EDA, are there certain things that are unique to Advantest? For instance, the collaborative nature of your company or of your relationship with EDA that cannot be matched or copied by others?
Okay, so it's 3 questions. This is a new opportunity for the industry, because in the past EDA and AT has been, 2 different, ecosystems in that sense. But now the complexity is so high that solutions are needed to bridge that gap. And our play, as you said, is Psychonic. And so itself, it's a business opportunity for us. But it also helps certainly later on the following insertions. Because sign-off, pre and post validation is a big market. But also the DFT developed there is the basis for the later test?
はい、3つ質問をいただいたのではないかなと思います。これは業界にとって新しいチャンスではないかと思います。なぜかというと、これまで過去は APE と EDA が2つ異なるエコシステムとして存在していたからです。現在、コンプレックス、複雑性が増している中、その橋渡し、ブリッジが必要というふうに当社は考えていて、そのため我々はサイコニックというソリューションを準備し、それが当社にとってチャンスになるというふうに考えています。このサイコニックっていうのは、その後、テストインサーションを手伝ってくれるシステムになっていて、なぜかというと、サインオフというプロセスが特に重要であるからです。
So,
重要で大きなマーケットであるからです。
okay. So, what's unique? I think Doug and Yas already mentioned, it's, I think, our culture. We have good collaborations going with all EDA vendors, whether that's on executive level, but also management level, engineers level, and run joint projects. And that's needed for this, to make it successful. And I think there our open culture helps, and certainly also our position in the HPC market. That this is not only with EDA companies, but it's also with the design and DFT departments of our customers. So bringing those three parties together is the secret, and make it happen and leverage it across the entire flow.
はい、先ほどダグと三橋も言いましたが、当社のカルチャーについての言及があったんですけども、これは EDA との連携の上でとても重要なポイントかなというふうに感じていて、なぜかというと、我々の EDA 企業とのパートナーシップというのは、エグゼキティブ、一番上の偉い人たちのレベルだけではなく、マネジメントレベルもそうですし、エンジニアレベルでも持っていることで、こういったいろんな層を通しての連携というのは必要不可欠であるからです。そして我々の、企業文化がこういった EDA との連携においてプラスになっているというもう一つの側面は HPC に関連する精密性プレシジョンです。我々顧客の企業の中の EDA 部門、そして設計部門、デザイン部門、そして DFT 部門、彼らを我々がつなぐ役割を果たしており、それは実は当社の成功にとって鍵となることだというふうに考えていて、我々はそれをレバレッジして全体のフローにつなげようとしています。
ありがとうございました。
Thank you very much, Shimano-san, for your questions. So now we are already approaching the scheduled closing time. I'd like to pass the microphone to my boss, Mihashi-san. Could you please wrap up by your side?
Yeah, thank you so much again. I mean, it was really good communication here, but also communication with many people. Thank you so much. But at the end, I just want to have one point. I'd like to bring it up, I think. So, I think having good circumstance in future what we are seeing. I think we need to have further step for capacity. What I think we are establishing now. I think. And Doug, I want you to speak out. Maybe a bit of more what it's going. I think. Oh yeah, sorry.
はい、皆様本日お時間ありがとうございました。皆様ととても良い対話を持てたのではないかなと思うんですけれども、最後にこちらから一言申し上げたいと思っておりまして、足元の事業環境、そして今後の見通しも良好である中、さらなるキャパ拡大、今進行中のキャパ拡大に一層の強化が必要ではないかなと思うんですけれども、ダグからコメントお願いできませんでしょうか。
Yeah, thank you. And so I spoke about the velocity, time to market, and then this is the question about the scale.
Yes.
And, we've been the last couple of quarters been intentionally talking about our production expansion. I didn't mean to cause any confusion with, so this is a way for us just to give some numbers so that people are all on the same page. And let me first say that the numbers I'll give you now are not intended to be extrapolated into sales or available market. They're purely the capacity that we are putting in place for the market.
はい。先ほどタイムトゥーマーケットのスピードが上がっているというふうにお話ししましたが、これはスケール、規模に直結するお話でして、直近2四半期ぐらいでしょうか。我々は意図的に皆さんにキャパ拡大に関してメッセージをお送りしております。もしかしたらそのメッセージがちょっと分かりにくかったかもしれないかなと思ってるんですけども、あえて状況をクリアにするためにこの場をお借りして皆さんにお話ししたいと思うんですけれども、一点ご留意いただきたいのが、今からお話しする数字というのは、それが必ずしも売上と、あと市場規模、タムに直結するわけじゃなく、あくまでもキャパという観点でいただければなと思います。
So if we speak just from our SoC platform, in terms of our targeted capacity, our intention is to put in at least a 5,000 system capacity by the end of fiscal 26. And then beyond that, we've already laid in place the plans to go to 7,500 within some period of time, couple years, or if we need to do faster, it's possible. Then a third step of 10,000 systems out into a little further out in time. So you can see then we have a clear direction of capacity expansion with some actual figures to clear up any misconception about the size of our scaling.
はい、SoC の方につきましては、26年度末にかけて5000システムをターゲットとして持っておりまして、その後、数年かけて7500台というのを視野に入れていて、もしかしたらそれをもっと早く実行しなければいけないかもしれないんですけども、そしてさらにその先には1万台という規模感も見据えております。こういった数値感を皆様にお話しすることで理解が深まれば良いなというふうに思っております。
And then on the memory side, certainly the memory systems have a smaller ratio to SoC, but the trajectory of scale is very similar.
次にメモリーについてなんですけども、SoC と比べてその比率というのは小さくなってしまうんですけども、規模の拡大という意味では同じベクトルを見ています。
And so again, this is just our capacity, including buffer, and not intended for people to make any kind of correlation to sales or TAM. But I just felt it was a good opportunity to be very clear about our production plans. Thank you, yes.
Well, thank you, Dad.
はい。改めて、申し上げますが、売上タムに直結するという意味でのメッセージはなく、このバッファーをこちらあくまでもバッファーを含んだキャパシティであるということをご理解いただけますと幸いです。これによって当社の生産計画に対する皆様の理解がクリアになることを願っております。
Okay, thank you so much. And thank you for, and now I know, let's close the meeting. Again, thank you so much. Have a good day at night and morning.
Thank you very much for taking time to join Advantest Corporation's IR Fireside chat despite your busy schedule today.